Hey, good morning. This is Cynthia, and this is morning devotion. This morning we are looking at John chapter 8. And just so you know, yeah, I am in Walmart again. We don't live here at Walmart, but we do come here in the morning and walk. And so I don't like to be incredibly hot. And so in Florida, in the summer, you're going to be incredibly hot. So we do come over here in the morning to walk. Get up, get my coffee, do my devotions, do a couple of things around the house, and then we come over here to walk. So I wanted to make the video this morning here just because life's in a hurry sometimes, right? And John chapter 8 is talking about the scripture for our devotion this morning is actually John 8:34 through 36. Jesus replied, "Verily I tell you," got a lot of noise going on here. "Verily I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now a slave has no permanent place in the family, but a son belongs to it forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." And so one of the questions in this actual devotion says, how is a sinner freed from sin? And this is kind of like the basics of Christianity 101, and we really should know this, that how we're freed from sin is because of the substitutionary atonement, or those are big words to say that Jesus died on the cross, a sinless being who took on our sin and died in our place and paid our price, right? So he became sin for us because he was sinless. And sin requires death, and sin requires blood. And so Jesus himself paid the price with his death and with his blood. And so because of his death and his blood, we are now positionally part of the kingdom. We are children of God. And so by being a child of God, that puts us in a new position. Now our soul is saved, our spirit is alive, our spirit is saved, and our spirit is alive and has been renewed and made new. And so our job here on earth is to renew our soul, our mind, our will, and emotions. So positionally, our spirit, we are made new, and our job here on earth is to bring our soul into alignment with our spirit and allow our spirit to be the lead instead of our soul. So we talk about, throughout Scripture, it talks about putting to death the deeds of the flesh, right? And so they're talking about our soul and our body. And so our job, how we're freed from sin, is recognizing that we were created new and that we are no longer sin, that we are no longer in sin and in bondage to sin. We have the power of God to overcome every temptation. And I love the scripture that says, if the Son sets you free, then you are free indeed. So what does it mean to be free? Well, to be free indeed to this in this society, in today's day and age, we could say there's no more people pleasing. We no longer have to please people. There's no stress or pressure to perform or to be perfect, to measure the world's standards, because our standard is, yes, to be of excellence and to do everything to the glory of God, but the purpose for which we do those now is no longer to please the world or to please another person. It is to please God. And so we have no worry about tomorrow. We have peace and joy at the center of our being. We are free indeed. And so Jesus paid the wages of our sin on the cross, and we're set free from all the entanglements that have kept us bound in our past and even in our future if we choose to walk with the Lord. And we have the power to overcome. So we don't have to be shackled by a fear or a lifestyle of sin any longer. We have a choice, because now we can move into that relationship with Jesus Christ and the Father, or we can turn back and go back to our old ways and be enslaved again. The Bible talks about don't be enslaved again. Don't go back to bondage. So, as I said, sin requires death and blood, and Jesus did that by his death and by his blood. But not only did he just pay the price, he rose again and proved to us and gave to us the power to overcome those things. So Jesus, who had that sinless life, who had no penalty on him because he had no sin, he took our penalty and he paid that in full so that we can be free indeed, so free. So it's a great portion of scripture here in John chapter 8, and there's a lot in this chapter. But what I did want to also add with this, and in October, Believer's House will be hosting a So Free seminar in which we'll be dealing with the things that cause us entrapment. So we're going to be talking about getting our spirit, our soul, and our minds in alignment. We're going to be talking about how to overcome those things of our past, having our minds renewed, and getting us set free from the things that have entangled us and the things that have kept us in bondage. And we're going to be dealing with soul realm and earthly, fleshly realm entrapments. So put that on your calendar. Be watching us here at Believer's House for that upcoming information that will be happening in the latter part, mid to latter part of October. We would love to have you join us. If you're a member of Believer's House, you'll be hearing about this obviously at our weekly gatherings, and we'll be doing some teaching as we speed towards October, which comes very fast, doesn't it? And those of you who are not members, you will also be invited and be allowed to join. And we haven't discussed whether there'll be a small fee or how we'll do that, but just want to make sure that you put that on your calendar and look forward to joining us there, because we do want to have you, and we do want you to be free indeed. We want you to be so free. God bless you.